So not only is this course beautiful, but you better be ready to throw some bombs. They have a 1,300 foot par 5s. What? Several 450 foot par 3s. The entire course is wrapped with OB and scattered with hazard bunkers all over the place. I cannot wait to show you guys how difficult this track is. Hole 1, par 3, 486 feet. The first shot is actually not the tough shot. I'm not gonna waste your guys' time saying this on every shot, but just know that on every single hole, there is OB right, left, and long. And then the additional OBs like rivers and bunkers, I'll let you know. For example, this hole has a bunker 3 feet short of the basket. The goal is what I'm trying to do right now. Throw a nice hyzer and then just pitch up to give myself a putt for the par. No scorekeeping today. I just want to show you guys my game plan. And then when you see the tournament, you'll see whether or not I'm able to execute this game plan I'm talking about. 605 foot par 4. We've got a low ceiling and about 300 feet. We have this OB creek. And then about 400 feet, you've got an OB bunker left. Basket is up and over a hill, heavily guarded by some trees. I'm going DD3, punching it underneath the gap, trying to get this thing stay moving right. This is tricky because the perfect landing zone is right where that bunker's at. That way you can kind of have a hyzer into the green. But I do not want to go OB or hit any hazards this weekend. However, there are gonna be shots where I'm gonna have to test the OB. But on things like this, if I have a wide open fairway to the right, let's take away OB on this hole, maybe use it on a different day. I don't necessarily need a hyzer in for this. As long as I can get this MD1 straight and over the hill, we will have a putt. Oh, did I get sneaky? No, I didn't. Ruts. T-sign says par 3, 605. It's not 605. It's probably 480 downhill. The OB cart path right does come into play. It's probably inside C1. Prototype DD3, playing the big hyzer. I wouldn't mind trying to get there clean, but if I do hit those trees, I should planko down into C1. If I can get to the trees. That was Noodle Arm Nate for sure. With the amount of par 4s and par 5s out here, and even these long par 3s, laying up is going to be crucial to minimize as many putts as I have to make. And also, hitting some big time putts is going to be another big thing. Do you guys keep hearing those gunshots? There's a rifle range right behind us, and I'm safe here unless I cross that fallen down tree, then I could get shot. 280 feet uphill par 3. I'm going to have to put on my big boy pants this weekend and start throwing some forehands because it's going to be kind of a must out here on some of these holes. I can force a backhand turnover, but it's just a forehand, dude. It's a forehand play. Don't try to make something else happen. You know what? Maybe we might take the big boy pants off. All right, this hole's still to be determined. 299 feet, and you've got the combination of a very low ceiling and also downhill. And in order to get to the basket, you really do kind of have to push that ceiling. I'm in between kind of going like a mid or something faster like the trail. We'll try our origin. I know I'm gonna have to kind of hyzer flip something. It's a sloped right to left green, so everything's trying to dump off to the left. So I'm gonna go a little bit more understable than usual. I mean, that's circle's edge, but like I said, if you wanna get down there, you really gotta push the ceiling. It's one of those big putts I was telling you about where I'm gonna have some of these, and the more of these I can cash, the better. T-sign says 384 feet, par 3. Ain't no way it's 384. And I'm not going for it either. 2 bunkers, left and right. They've got a skinny gap down the middle of the fairway that you can land in, or you can push kind of really far out to the right on the hill. A little bit farther, kind of takes the hazard out of play, and you can see the basket. I'm not going for the 3 on this one, so I am making my approach probably 50 feet farther. I'd rather be safe and 50 feet farther than risking it for an extra 50 feet. And if I can't make this upshot, then that's just on me. Sweet. I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but we're practicing the white layout, which is the shorter layout. The blue layout is significantly farther. This is the 1,300 foot par 5 that I was telling you about on the blue layout, so we're gonna go ahead and play that just for the fun of it. The best landing zone is as far as you can go and a little bit to the left. Ooh, fight back, fight back, fight back. Oh, it did. Oh, I didn't know if I could trust it. I mean, I got the distance part right. I need to be a little bit more left. Got one down the fairway. Now this tree up here in the corner is a Mando tree. It's to the left, way downhill over there. Oh, that one could pan out. Oh, it did. It had to have. You know, I probably should have thought about that. I don't know where that's at. Just to be safe, here's a real shot. You make it around the Mando tree and then boom. Elevated basket on a hill with some guardian bunkers. All discs have been found from that position. It's an easy forehand that gets us down the hill with our approach. I think I would only try to attack that backhand turnover if I am left. Swing a lot, swing a lot, swing a lot. Circle's edge with a death putt. We'll go ahead and see how these death putts are feeling. Pretty deadly. Okay, so we're 8 holes in, and this is the first hole where I'm like, all right, we gotta get this birdie. It's 290 feet, OB left, right, and long, inside C1, up and over hill. Pretty scary, but I do get to throw the MD1, and that's a disc I feel confident in, and I used it for this hole this morning, and I got my birdie, so we're feeling good with this hole. Could we get an ace right now? Nope, just a really good shot. So 8 does give me hope, but if you kind of look back, the par 5 and hole 3 are the only other like birdie chances I have, which means an absolutely best case scenario, I could be 3 down through 8 right now. That kind of shows you why I cannot afford any OB strokes or anything like that. I need the birdies and I need to play clean. I also have to accept the fact that it's gonna happen. I'm gonna get a bad bunker break or an OB stroke, and we're gonna have to have short-term memory with it, move on. Don't let anything like that rack up. Par 3, up a hill, low ceiling again, basket's way off to the right. I shouldn't be throwing this. This is what I should be throwing. This A2 is going to be putting work in on these approaches this weekend. Nice. I'm telling you, we're going to be playing some pretty boring golf this weekend. It's not boring though. This course is amazing. 8.6, I'd say. If you guys know the channel, Persimmon Ridge, very similar to this, except this course is on steroids. It takes the distance to a whole other level, the OBs, the bunkers, the views, the elevation. It's better than Persimmon Ridge, I will say that. No offense, Kim and Steve, if you're watching. Love you guys, and I love the course. Here we go. Balmer, S-line DD3, just getting something in the fairway, making the approach as easy as possible. Couldn't even get to that tree. And honestly, I wasn't even scared about it because I know I can't get to that tree. 138 steps later, we've gotten to our disc, and I'm probably just inside 200 feet, maybe 175. From here, there is rollaway potential, especially if I hit that branch, so keep the NV low, have it scoot up there under the basket. Perfect. So got to this hole this morning and I was like, oh my gosh, finally 231 feet. I can throw my A2. It's in between the trees. I can see the basket, but here's the shot, and then peep the green when we get down there. Can't forget about the bunkers. It's not too bad because if I am right here, it's a quick par save, but boy, is it unfortunate to miss out on that birdie. Par 3, 280 feet, plus an additional 200 feet of elevation, surrounded by out of bounds, bunker on the right. Welcome to hole 12. Absolutely beautiful hole, by the way. I'm just expressing to you guys how hard this course is. When I say any of these like negative sounding things, don't take it the wrong way. This is the best course I've played on this trip without a doubt so far. I am going PD, I am going high, and I'm trying to spike this thing on the pole. Do it. Just sit, just sit. We made it. What a freaking hike, bro. Now we start making our way back down the hill to end up coming right back up. It's kind of unfortunate, but 338 feet straight downhill. I mean, you're literally having to, and I don't know if I should go pyro or A2. Basket's just around the corner. We'll try the A2 first. That looks to be good. That one was just pulled. Kind of what I thought. Pyro was swung out a little too far to the right. Still ended up at about a 50 footer. The A2, I'm excited that I can throw this one off the tee. As many A2 shots as I can have today, the better. Please ring bell after all birdies. You really gotta work to ring the bell, don't you? I don't think I've ever seen a hole like this. 368 feet, but just straight downhill. Let's see what our MD1 does first. Oh my gosh, it takes so long to hit the ground. This is, dude, I could just empty the bag on this hole. Birdie, if I get an ace, I want 17 of these. Imagine. Nope, just spark job. I don't know why I said 17 of them. I do want to see if I can make an A2 work on this hole though. Yeah, we might be going A2 again. We're gonna go ahead and end this on hole 14. This is the 50th hole that I've played today, and as you can tell, it's been nothing but bombs, so I don't want to kill the arm too bad today. Turn it around tomorrow. Two things that I learned from last weekend that killed me pretty bad was the lack of confidence. Second thing, round 2 went off the game plan when it cost me a double bogey, screwed up the round. We're learning. Stick to this game plan that I've spent all day working out. Believe in myself and have the confidence. Simple as that. See you guys tomorrow for the tournament. And here we go. So we're on hole 1. Par 4. So on U-Disc, all the pars were essentially par 3s. There's a lot more par 4s out here that I expected, including this one. So we're throwing our hyzer, we're pitching up with the A2. We had a right to left headwind. Put it out there thinking the A2 would swing, but it kind of left me with this sketchy uphill 28 footer. You can see the flag is blowing right to left, so I was planning on laying up, but then it kind of switched up on me to a tailwind. So I was like, all right, if I miss this, I'm not going to go into the bunker. It should just drop. So then I committed to putting, but then you can see the flag switch back, and I was like, all right, whatever, I'm still going for it. So we pitched it up, gave it a bid, started the day off with a birdie. On to hole 2, got to clear this OB creek, end up left. I mean, the more left, the better. It opens up for that fairway shot. Almost brought the bunker into play, but I was plenty short of it. Kind of scared, but this leaves us with our rise approach. I was going to go MD1, but I know I need this to finish a little bit more to the left, so we went with the rise, and it did just that. I hit the gap, gave myself a nice 15-footer to go 2 down through 2. We move on to hole 3. There is the OB cart path right. I was kind of testing it, but didn't really get the juice on it. Didn't give it flat. I needed to get some flat and turn in order to get in C1. This left me with a downhill 35, maybe 40 footer. Clipped the branch, but it still had no chance of going in. And I did lose a stroke to the entire cart. I was playing with some dogs today. 2 of them were lefty who could just smash the disc, no problem. I told myself I was going with the forehand. I've not been throwing forehands well, but I stuck to the game plan and just shanked my forehand. Tried to give this deep C2 a healthy bid, but ended up just laying up for the par, losing a stroke to the entire card again. Hole 5 has been giving me problems all weekend. This time I didn't even make it out the gap. I hit first available, was forced to throw this forehand roller. There wasn't any OB, so I wasn't scared, but I just didn't put enough juice on it. It was also sloped right to left, so it just cut out pretty quick, leaving myself another deep C2 that I miss. And what do you know? Losing a stroke to the entire field again. So 3 holes in a row, it was not the best feeling. Hole 2, I'm trying to play this really far out wide, but we had a right to left wind, so it ended up hyzering back rather. Right in front of that bunker, in front of these little, I don't even know what you call these plants, but they were in the way. I should have gone forehand here, but I was feeling confident with the backhand A2. I just pulled it a little too far to the right, clipping those branches, giving myself this scary 60-footer. That OB cart path is just behind the basket. Didn't even give it a bid. Tapping for the par, losing a stroke to the entire field again. So in 4 holes, I've lost a stroke to everybody. And it was pretty annoying, but I know that the round's not over yet. I wasn't getting bogeys. I did on hole 5, but I knew there's still plenty of opportunities. We get on to the very far par 5. I put it way out left, more than I have ever in these practice rounds, and this set up for this backhand turnover shot perfectly. Hit my DD3 on a big Annie. It flexed all the way down the hill, all the way up to the bunker. This is as close as I've ever been, so I wasn't really familiar with this shot. I went with a pyro out wide. There's OB long and left and right. Skipped over the hill. Told myself I'm not running this, but it actually lowered down to where it's not really a death putt. Just an uphill 28-footer that I was able to cash, and that putt felt very good. I mean, it was exactly how I wanted, dead center. I'd been birdieing this all week, so I felt comfortable going into this hole as well, throwing the MD1. I got a little bit out to the right. I kind of turned it just a touch. It hyzered back. I really thought I was out of bounds, but very close, but stayed in. Another confident putt, dead center. Got some bounce back on the card, so I was feeling good. Hole 9. Not really trying to go for the birdie. Just trying to clear the gap. Hit the tree, kick left, but thankfully didn't go into that OB bunker. Just set myself up for a nice pro shot with the A2, a shot that I've been throwing multiple times on this hole because I can't seem to hit the gap. Little testy 20, maybe 18-footer here. Wind's kind of blowing, but I should be close enough to get this. Just snuck it over the cage for the par. And we had a little potty break, so we're moving on to this par 4. This is actually my second shot. I put some up in the fairway, and then I threw that NV straight up to the pole, tapping in for the easy birdie, along with everybody else. There was all in all, there was like a 20-foot putt on that hole. A2 through the gap. I love it, but it all comes down to whether or not it ends up in that bunker. Kind of ran off the side of the hill, ended up parking it just in between both of the bunkers. Nice little tap in birdie again. Now we have the uphill shot. I did not like it out of the hand. You have to throw it high, but I threw it entirely too high and just barely got over the OB up there, leaving myself about a 25 footer. I like the putt. It just, I didn't really commit to it. But you can see the beautiful view out here, out Tower Ridge. Finally, we got some sun. Downhill bomber shot, A2, putting it out wide. Just got to clear around that brush. Loved it out of the hand. Walked up, tapped in for the birdie. I'm feeling really good at this point. I mean, everything's coming out well. A2 shot another, it's like 380 feet, I believe, just straight downhill. I'm just trying to slam that A2 into the ground, giving myself a 45 footer. Loved it again. Didn't expect it to hit the band. I was shook when that happened. Hyzer bid out wide, baskets down in there in between the trees. I'm putting that Proto DD3 out wide, having it crash into the hillside. Got me a little bit of skip, but it ended up kind of collecting down there at the bottom of the hill. A little 15 footer for our birdie. Loving it. I'm coasting right now. I'm not even keeping an eye on score. I'm just kind of playing the game. This is a tricky little hole. I'd say the only gimmicky hole they have out here. It is a very tiny gap. You've got OB creek short. You've got OB long, right, and left. It almost plays like an island. And then you also have a bunker that's in that tiny little landing zone. So I hit the tree, it crashed down. I'm trying to figure out the wind here. Putting out the A2 right up underneath the pin just for a tap-in par. Which is always a good feeling when you don't have to worry about putting. Hole 17, this is all about putting your disc in the right position. You got to swing it out wide around these trees, but then there's OB all over the place up there. I put it in the middle of the fairway, but a little bit left. That basket is so high up the hill. Like that little gap that you're seeing, you still got about 20, 30 feet higher than that. I kept telling myself in this moment, you love throwing nose up, so just throw your normal shot and it'll end up working out. So I went very understable with my PA3, put it up under the ceiling, it floated up there, skipped up. Gave myself the hardest putt, the hardest 12-footer I've ever had to make. I'm sitting right at the basket. I've got a gnarly slope that I'm dealing with. I got a tree to my right, and then this tree right in front of me is blocking up the entire basket. So whenever I was able to lean out to the right like that, I can see just the right side of the cage. So I put it on a steep hyzer, just snuck it over. Got my tap-in 12-footer. Hole 18, very big bomb shot. I mean, the guys on my card were going for it. I had one guy go OB long. I think it's 600 feet. I'm just putting something out in the fairway, not messing with OB, even though it's kind of hard to go out of bounds on this hole. Put a nice shot out there. Sloped right to left. We got OB long and right. I was about to throw my NV, but I kind of talked myself out of it because I was like, we haven't thrown the NV really that much. I've been throwing the A2. I know this hyzer is going to work out, so I just didn't want anything crazy to happen, so I just went with this reliable A2, putting it out wide, knowing that it's going to hyzer back and finish. No real roll-away potential just because it's that gummy, tacky A2. And it set me right under the basket for the 10-down birdie putt.
Here we go. So we got a 10-piece today. Pretty happy with how I played the course. No OB strokes, no bunkers, which that was all a part of the initial game plan. I made all of my C1 putts today. I had a couple C2s. One hit the band, which was such a tease because I was feeling confident on that stretch, but started the round off well, but then kind of choked up on those, 3 through 6. I was losing strokes to the entire card. Everybody was birdieing except me, which wasn't a good feeling, but I knew there was multiple opportunities to take a couple stroke swings, so just kept my head in the game. Going out for another practice round. This will be 5 rounds in 2 days. Take you guys along with me to figure out a nice game plan and then attack again tomorrow.
All right, I don't want to bore you guys with the same course over and over again, but we're playing from the longs this time. Just gonna go through another game plan, pick and choose some of the holes because they're all the same for the most part, other than hole 1 being a little bit more of a beautiful view. So obviously OB and bunkers are still gonna be a problem in this round, but with everything being in the long, they're kind of more in play. Like hole 2, you kind of have to throw like 350, 375 if you want to clear that creek. I had a tailwind the first time I played this. We do have a headwind now, so I want to see if I can clear the creek. If not, I'm perfectly content with just laying up and then attacking on the second shot. And honestly, that's my layup. I didn't even make it across the creek, and I'm short, so I'll probably be going with that shot second round. This morning, I was able to go rise. I'm about 100 feet further now, so I think we just go up to a fairway driver, hit it with our instinct. I ended up actually having to go distance driver. Yeah, that's a lot better. All right, here we go. Change of plans. Okay, everything is the same exact shot except a little bit farther. You're basically throwing from blue's tee a little bit farther in white's tee, and then it's the same game plan from there. OBs and bunkers are going to be way more in play the second round than it was the first round, so I got to keep that in mind. I also know that there's going to be two-stroke swings on essentially every hole out here, so I also have to keep that in mind. If things happen early, I can't let it bother me. I stuck to the game plan this morning. I think I'm going to be able to do that round 2. I'm excited. All right, round 2, baby.
All right, and we're starting on hole 1. I was kind of shook because I didn't think we'd be throwing from this tee pad, but it's the same essential shot. You're just kind of throwing something out there. You're getting something in the fairway. I went prototype DD3. I'm not messing with anything. I want to get myself in the same exact type of upshot that I had from round 1, A2. Loved it out of the hand. I'm watching the shadow on the ground, and I can see it park right under the basket, but then take a little tiny roll back down that hill that I was telling you guys about. Little scary putt. It was 15-footer, and I'm looking back at the bunker, but we snuck it over the cage. On this shot, I wasn't able to clear the creek in the practice round, but we had a nice wind. I was feeling good. I know I had to make like a statement to myself, like, hey, we're going to be throwing some bombs today. So pulled out the S-Line DD3, got a full flex out there. Crossed the creek, another rise approach, straight through the gap. Missed all the trees, and I'm feeling great right now. Gave myself the same 25-footer. Cashed it. I'm playing it basically like I did round 1. This is hole 3. We're trying to clear this cart path, not go right, and just end up in that fairway. And again, did just that. A little left, all good. I have my pyro approach right here. Put it out wide. I'm expecting a skip. And then I just kind of hit this grass and then kick right. I thought I was out of bounds. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But I stayed in bounds, same 45-footer, off the band. And I was telling myself in this moment, dude, we've got to make some C2s. I made 100% of my C1s round 1. I didn't make any C2s. Today's going to be a day where we're going to have to hit some C2s. So I move over here to hole 4, going with my DD3 again. I'm just trying to... I was aiming at that middle tree, and if it went left or right, I knew I was going to have a putt. Gave myself a 25-footer, and we hit the putt. Back to hole 5. I'm ready to get some revenge on this hole. Same disc, going with the trail. Kept it low this time, holding the turn. Clips a little bit of a branch. Peels off to the right. And I gave myself a putt. First C1 miss of the tournament. I wanted that birdie so freaking bad. Hole 6, par 4. Threw my DD3 entirely too low. I lost a lot of distance on this. I told you guys that we have an OB cart path behind this basket, and I didn't know if I needed to go mid-range or instinct. I ended up going with the mid, just that way I didn't go long, but the mid just left me a little too short. Missed my other birdie putt, losing a stroke to the entire cart again. What do you know? Now we're on our 1,300-foot par 5. I'm going with the same game plan as I did round 1. I just want to get as far left as I absolutely can. I really don't care about distance. Still had a lot of distance to go. Going with that same turnover shot, except I did not put enough turn on it. So kind of stalls out. I make the Mando corner, but I'm right underneath this Christmas tree. Thankfully with a little tiny hole out. So I just punch my cloudbreaker as hard as I can. And then now I'm like, okay, well, let's just clear the bunker. Barely cleared the bunker.
Nice.
I was right here, and I have that little tiny hole.
Oh, really?
So I was like, I'll just punch it through there and then hopefully clear the bunker and save fun.
Yep. Good job.
So the shot was good enough to clear the bunker. Thankfully not good enough to make me think that I had to run this putt. So we did the easy thing, just pitching up, tapping in for our par. This is the 400-foot shot. Still we've got OB left, right. I flexed my DD3 perfectly out of hand. This hole's 400 feet. I got the flex. I thought I had plenty of distance, and I was shocked to see that I was still 40 short up here on this hole. Cart path right behind. I know I need to hit a C2, dink the cage, and thankfully stay in bounds for the par. I'm still beating myself up the fact that I cannot get any C2s. Now I've got the gap to hit. This time I clipped the branch straight into the OB bunker. So this is my first bunker shot of the tournament. I managed to stay clean all round 1. Not the case today. Landed in the bunker. Was able to tap in for the bogey. We've got a super far par 4 on this one. Again, threw that DD3 a little low. Trying to tell myself, hey, we're going to have to throw some forehands now. I've got all the room out to the left, and I just pull it inside. I hit a tree, and now I'm stuck under this tree with a very weird approach shot. So I'm going with my Envy. I'm just going back door. I'm trying to hyzer it out over these trees and hopefully get through them. And I did. I left it out of the hand. It gave me a nice tap-in par. We're good. Off the bogey train. Except now we're gambling with this shot again. Throw the A2. Loved it out of the hand. I feel like I threw it just how I did in round 1. and plot twist, I came up just a touch short. So I'm essentially parked, but I'm in the bunker. So this is just a tap in par. Hole 12. This is where I in hindsight, I think I made the bad decision. I was last on the card. Everybody laid up. I know that I can make it up on top of there. There's a lot of free landing spots up there, but there is this bunker right. I end up turning it over, and you can see it hyzer back. So I get on top of the hill. I know there's space up there, but there's a giant bunker, and I'm in the bunker. C2 bid, off the left chains. I was trying to force myself to hit a big putt. Like, I knew that could be a game changer. At that point, I was tied for the lead. So I knew that if I could get a stroke, that'd put momentum in my hands. I knew I was able to birdie some of these next holes coming up. This is an A2 downhill again through a gap. Got the birdie. This is a tough hole too, but I've been throwing it well in practice. Just throwing the MD1 straight off the edge of the cliff. Know it's going to hold straight and just drop, and that's exactly what it did. So I felt good, except for I know I made my first mistake trying to go for that big uphill island shot. Another C2 bid. Missed it, but we got the cleanup. Still feeling fine. At this point, I'm tied for the lead. Hole 15, big bomb out over there. Loved it out of the hand. I got it to flip up to flat. It's cruising in. Hyzer's down, right in between the trees. Didn't see it skip or anything. I'm walking up thinking I've got a tap in par, but it actually skip flared long past the basket out of bounds. So now this is my 45-footer coming back. I'm telling myself, hey, we got to hit this, and we do. So I'm feeling great. You know, I'm getting these OB hits, I'm getting these bunkers, but I'm not letting anything affect me. That was a big moment for me as well, because I stepped up and I made that clutch par save. This is a par 3. I'm putting something in the fairway. Nobody went for this, which is understandable because this is such a tough green to get to. I've got an approach here. There's OB all over the place. We have a right to left wind. I'm going with the A2, and all you have to do is just hit this hillside right at the base of the basket, and you'll stick. However, I caught some leaves, and I just kind of skip flared over the leaves, OB long. Everybody was sitting underneath the basket for the par, so now I have this putt for my bogey. So this is going to drop me down to, I believe, 3rd place if I make this. So I'm telling myself it's not over yet. We got a headwind putt. I'm looking back at the out of bounds. Just trying to stay cool, calm, collected. And I just pull it right. Just missed it completely. I did not go out of bounds, but I left myself the same type of putt, about another 35-footer coming back up the hill, tailwind putt this time. At this point, I'm beating myself up. I'm so upset with myself. I mean, we had a 3-stroke lead coming in, and I just felt like the course is out to get me. I wouldn't change any of my shots that I've thrown. I was just kind of getting bad breaks, and that's all I'm thinking about. I end up cashing the putt, double bogey. Everybody got a par. 2 holes left, and I think I'm 3 strokes back, but I was like, let's, keep the foot on. Anything can happen. Let's just go. We have the crazy par 4 again. I get it out in the middle of the fairway. Another nose-up shot that I'm feeling comfortable with. Farther back, though, so I went the midnight prowl, skip flare up the hill, gave myself a putt, and I was like, here's our chance. We've got this. Airballed it, and I just knew. I knew. It just came rolling back down the hill. It's so steep. You have to make it or just lay up. And I just shanked my 20-foot putt. I've got a 45-footer uphill through some trees, right off the cage. Another double bogey. I lost a stroke to everybody. At this point, I'm so upset. I'm furious. I mean, I just choked coming down the stretch. Just bombed out the DD3, stepped up to the approach shot, not even thinking. I throw my FD3 up there. Then I hit this funny little path where it goes from the white stakes are out of bounds, but then it connects to this road, and I was in this little triangle point. So I have to play a provisional. I made the first one. This is where I ended up having to play from. And that's just so embarrassing. I'm leaving in here. I'm so mad, but I mean,
There's just no reason for that. I mean, I'm upset with myself that I gave up. It didn't matter per se. I mean, I could have triple bogeyed that hole. I had 4th place locked in. It's bad enough that I gave up, and then to just visually show that to everybody's even more just unsportsmanlike and just cringy and just gross. It's like, dude, finish the hole and go be a baby somewhere else. And I just did not have the mental strength to do that. So that's just showing me that I got to learn how to lose. It seems like every weekend I'm figuring out a new way to lose. But This is the first time I've choked up on a 3-stroke lead, and it's easy for me to blame that last 4 stretch of holes, because it's like I wouldn't have changed anything about it. I would have thrown the same spike hyzer, I would have thrown the same upshot. I just got bad breaks, but I made 1 C2 the entire weekend. If I made half of the C2s, then that crap that happened at the end of the stretch wouldn't have happened. So it's so easy for me to sit there and blame those last few holes, when in reality it's just I got to do better throughout the tournament. I just showed that you can't make all your C1 putts. That's not good enough. You have to hit C2 putts. You got to throw better shots. Like, that's just what it comes down to. But boy, does it suck having a 3-stroke lead and then just throwing it all away to get 4th place. I didn't even cash. Gosh, is it a bummer. And then I made a fool of myself at the end. So that's just the icing on top. But thank you guys for watching. That's how you blow a 3-stroke lead. Peace.